I was born as a tiny spore, lighter than a whisper, drifting silently through the air. Most of my siblings never found fertile soil, carried away by the wind, lost forever. But I was lucky. The currents guided me to a damp, shaded forest floor, a place where sunlight barely reached, a world of darkness where few could survive. From the moment I touched the soil, life began. I sent my roots deep into the earth, searching for water, clinging to nutrients hidden beneath layers of decay. I unfurled my first fronds slowly, carefully, feeling my way toward the faintest glimmer of light that filtered through the dense canopy above. The forest around me was alive with sounds, the calls of creatures, the rustling of leaves, the patter of rain on distant leaves. I could not see the world as they did, but I sensed it. The vibrations, the moisture, the temperature, all guided my growth. I learned to move with patience, to endure, to survive. Season after season, I spread my spores into the wind, tiny seeds of my existence, hoping some would find another home, another chance to live. Life was fragile, yet persistent. I was small, insignificant, but alive. The forest around me was alive with sounds, the calls of creatures, the rustling of leaves, the patter of rain on distant leaves. I could not see the world as they did, but I sensed it. The vibrations, the moisture, the temperature, all guided my growth. I learned to move with patience, to endure, to survive. Season after season, I spread my spores into the wind, tiny seeds of my existence, hoping some would find another home, another chance to live. Life was fragile, yet persistent. I was small, insignificant, but alive. The forest around me was alive with sounds, the calls of creatures, the rustling of leaves, the patter of rain on distant leaves. I could not see the world as they did, but I sensed it. The vibrations, the moisture, the temperature, all guided my growth. I learned to move with patience, to endure, to survive. Season after season, I spread my spores into the wind, tiny seeds of my existence, hoping some would find another home, another chance to live. Life was fragile, yet persistent. I was small, insignificant, but alive. The storms came. Heavy rains and violent winds tore at the canopy above, changing the light that reached me. Fires swept through the forest floor, scorching the soil. Yet I survived. My roots dug deep, and my fronds curled in ways that minimized damage. I persisted, silently, in darkness. Time passed, and my world changed. Trees grew taller, flowering plants emerged, and the canopy above thickened. Shadows deepened, competition became fierce. Still, I adapted. I had endured when others failed, and my lineage continued to spread across the forest floor. For millions of years, my species flourished. I'm part of the Osmundastrum family, the cinnamon ferns, one of the oldest plant lineages still living today. Our fossil records stretch back to the late Cretaceous, over 70 million years ago. Through time, I witnessed the rise and fall of countless species. The dinosaurs came and went, flowering plants took over the forest, and mammals began their quiet march. In the shadowy understory, we ruled. Our fronds stretched wide. Our spores drifted on the wind. We created a carpet of green that covered the forest floor. Other plants depended on us. Small creatures hid beneath our fronds. Moisture lingered in our shade, and the soil held water because of us. We were survivors, providers, silent rulers of the darkness. Each season, I unfurled my fronds, reaching toward whatever light I could find. Each year, I released my spores, carrying my legacy forward. I endured droughts, floods, storms, and fire. Nothing could destroy me. I was patient. I was resilient. I was eternal. But time is never kind. As the world shifted, the climate changed. Ice ages swept the continents. Glaciers advanced, forests froze, and wetlands drained. The rivers that fed me dried up in some places, while in others, flooding drowned my relatives. Flowering plants evolved faster than I could adapt. They grew taller, wider, and spread seeds more efficiently. My shaded world became a battlefield. Some of my kin perished, unable to compete. The spores I sent out often landed in places where they could not grow. Still, I clung to life. My roots dug ever deeper into the soil, searching for water. My fronds adapted to absorb the faintest light. My spores still traveled on the wind, carrying hope for the next generation. Survival became harder, but I endured, one season at a time, one century at a time. Millions of years passed. The forests I had known were gone, replaced by new ecosystems. My species, once dominant in the understory, began to shrink in numbers. Many of my relatives vanished completely. In some regions, I was nearly extinct, surviving only in damp valleys, swamps, and hidden forests. Reproduction became less frequent. My spores often failed to find fertile soil. Environmental changes tested me in ways I had never faced before. Fire, drought, and human activity began to shape my world. I had survived dinosaurs, ice ages, and the rise of flowering plants. But now I faced something different, a world changing faster than I could adapt. The forests became fragmented. My habitat shrank. Competition with new species increased. Each year, fewer spores survived. I clung to life, but extinction loomed. My once thriving populations were reduced to pockets of ferns, hidden in shadows where humans had not yet reached. Eventually, in some regions, I disappeared entirely. My fronds no longer unfurled in the sunlight. My spores no longer drifted across the wind. I became a memory, a ghost of the forests that once were. But even in extinction, my legacy lived on. My relatives, the modern cinnamon ferns, continue to grow in wetlands and shaded forests. They carry my DNA, my resilience, and the lessons of survival through darkness. Every fern that grows today tells a story that began millions of years ago. I may have vanished in some places, but I am not forgotten. My life was a testament to patience, resilience, and the quiet power of persistence. I survived when others could not, endured when the world was cruel, and left behind a legacy that whispers through the shadows of every forest floor. I am the oldest fern. I grew in darkness, I survived the ages, and even as some of my kind fade away, my story continues,